The year 2019 had some really good and entertaining movies. Today, I'm going to tell you my top 10 favorite movies from 2019. I know that this is everyone's opinion. I might make a couple controversial choices in the video. If you don't agree, tell me in the comments section. Give me your top 10. I'd love to hear them and have a discussion with you in the comments section. Enjoy the video. Coming at number 10 is easily Terminator Dark Fate. This is a movie that I really liked. The one problem that I have with it is that it repeats a couple of the things from Terminator 2, but other than that, now it's time to get into the huge pros. I loved what they did with all the characters from the previous movies. I loved what they did with Arnold's character, like what he does at the beginning of the movie. I was so surprised. Like, I know some people hated that. I, for one, liked it. I also liked how they like what they did from later on in the movie. I felt like that gave them a lot more humanity. I love the relationship between Sarah and the Terminator in this movie. I really liked their relationship and how it developed because of what happened at the beginning. Sarah was obviously mad at the Terminator, but it seemed like they ended up forgiving each other at the end. So I really liked that character arc. I really liked the new characters that they introduced. I really liked how it was like constantly action. Like there wasn't a dull moment. And I really liked how, like, the Terminators in the movie were not the only enemy. I'm trying not to spoil anything for this movie. If you're a Terminator fan, and if you were arguing against seeing this movie and not, I highly suggest it. Coming at number 9 is easily Avengers Endgame. This is a movie that has a lot of the things I expect out of an Avengers movie, along with more emotional moments and more fan service, in my opinion. It's not as good as the other Avengers movies. It's definitely not as good as Infinity War, but it's a movie that I really liked the emotion that it had. The fan service was really good. The scene where they're all coming out the portals from Doctor Strange, my jaw was dropped. In the scene where Captain lifts Thor's hammer, I lost it there. But this movie isn't perfect. Like, I thought there were like one or two moments where I was just like, oh, you could explain that a little bit better, like how the Hulk and Bruce Banner combined into one person. I was just like, what the heck? How's that even happen? I also didn't really like how they changed Thanos' character in the movie. I also didn't like how they changed Thanos' character. Like, it sounds like he's gonna destroy the whole world in this one. And in the original, I liked how he had more of a reasoning, but in this one, it's more like, I'm gonna destroy all mankind, ha ha ha! Like in the final battle, he actually says, at first it wasn't personal, but now I'm going to enjoy this. So that makes it sound like he's gonna destroy the whole world, number one, and number two, like, that, like, he's, like, doesn't have any reasoning to do this other than his enjoyment now. But, the story is still decent. I really liked what they did with the characters, like, because, like, they're acting the way they should act, the way they usually act. The fan service was, once again, amazing. The emotional moments were really good, like to see where Tony got to see his dad again. Really good. Really good. I loved that scene. So, if you're an Avengers fan, they've probably seen the movie, and you probably like it as much as me. Coming at number 8 is Frozen 2. I really liked the original Frozen, but this is arguably better. Well, they both have really good music, obviously, but the new Frozen might win music-wise. The humor is about equal for the two movies. The story might be better than the original. That's the main thing that holds this movie up for me, the story. It took me a couple times to understand it because there's a lot of scenes where they do like a bunch of exposition at you at once. So it can get kind of confusing, in my opinion. That is a problem. They also introduced a lot of characters in the first like half of the movie, but then they ditched them along with Kristoff, who had a really interesting story arc that I really liked, but they ditched him once again because this is mostly Elsa and Anna's movie. So that kind of always bothered me, but still, really good plot. Really liked the music. The character arcs were decent. I really liked the character arcs were good. And yeah, a really worthy follow-up to the original Frozen movie. Coming in At number 7 is Marriage Story. This is a movie that I once again really liked. A lot of people agree with me. Some people in my family don't agree with me. I thought it was really good. I loved Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson's performance in the movie. It's also apparently realistic to a lot of different divorces that have actually happened. That's what I've read online from reviews. There were one or two scenes where I was just like, you don't really need that, but like this is kind of like a pointless scene. But other than that, it's a really entertaining movie. A couple of funny moments and dramatic moments that I liked. The acting, really good. I loved how it ended up with a happier ending at the end of the movie. So, to sum it up, a lot of good acting, a lot of funny scenes, a lot of good drama scenes, realistic to a lot of different divorces, and it's on Netflix, so I highly recommend you watch it. Coming in at number 6 is The Peanut Butter Falcon. This is a really good movie to watch. If you want a feel-good film, it's a better movie to watch. If you want a feel-good film, it's a better feel-good film to watch if you want to support anybody with special needs, like autism or Down syndrome. It also does so many things well. It does the humor well. There's so many good drama scenes. The character relationships and interactions are really good, and they are also really likable during the movie. They cast somebody with Down syndrome in the movie because the main character in the movie has Down syndrome. There's a lot of feel-good scenes in the movie, like where you just can't help but smile. And there's some action in the movie, which I really liked. And unlike the previous movies I've talked about, this is a movie that I don't think I have any problems with. So, highly recommend it. Good humor, really good feel-good film. A lot of good drama, really good characters, good character interactions. So I highly recommend it, and it's going to be on Amazon Prime in August. Coming at number 5 is Shazam. This is a movie that I liked a lot more than I was expecting. The character interactions and the way they act are so realistic. Zachary Levi was perfect casting in this movie. The humor and plot were done really well, to the point of where I would recommend it to families. But the thing is that they make jokes about strip clubs in this movie, like Shazam goes into a strip club. We see him coming out. We don't go inside a strip club. That probably would have gotten it like an R rating. But there's also some dark scenes in the movie too. Like there's a scene where demons literally just tear people apart, and some of them just went to work basically. And then they were thrown out of a window or torn apart by a freaking demon. Although that is dark and that isn't very family friendly, I feel like it shows how menacing the villain is, because the villain in this movie is really menacing. Also, all the emotions that the villain goes through during the opening scene is really good. The scene that Billy goes through with like his adopted mom throughout the movie are like really good and really realistic for a kid around his age too. So I highly recommend this movie. A lot of humor, a lot of good characters and character interactions that act really realistically, and a really good villain. Almost a good family film, but is not a good family film in my opinion. Coming at number 4 is Rocketman. If you're worried that this is a movie that'll be just like Bohemian Rhapsody, you are totally wrong. This is a really good movie that uses a lot of different techniques to tell Elton John's story, and also to embrace his music. Like, I love the way that they put the music into the film, because they could use almost all of his songs. It also always advanced the plot or showed how the characters were feeling at that moment of time. So it has a really cool way to show Elton John's life. And it also shows his life from his childhood to today. And I really liked how they did that too. So it has so many things to love. If you're a fan of Elton John's music, I highly suggest this movie. Nothing like Bohemian Rhapsody. It uses the music in a really different way. The music that they use and the way they use it is probably my favorite part about the movie. If you're a fan of Elton's music, highly suggest this movie. Coming in at number 3 is Jojo Rabbit. This is a movie of a lot of sensitive material. It deals with World War II a lot, and it finds a way to be funny and also really emotional when it wants to be. And that is one of the best parts about the movie. Another good part about the movie is the characters. and the interactions and all the things they do for each other and how they treat each other. Like the scene with the mom and her son at the dinner table is really, really good. Like the scene with Jojo and his mom at the dinner table dealing with like their husband and father's death is so brilliant. Like it does so well with emotions, and it does so well with the characters and their interactions and their emotions towards the death and everything. Like the imaginary Hitler in this movie is hilarious. It has a very, very emotional end. I had to warn everybody about that. It has a lot of sensitive material, but it still causes so many laughs, so many tears, has such a good story, deals with so many good themes, to the point of where I would call it fantastic, and I would highly recommend it to anyone that is not easily offended. Coming in at number 2 is Knives Out. This is a movie that I recommend to basically everyone. It has humor, a lot of fun, suspense. It's a good thriller. It has a decent plot. Almost everything in the movie makes sense. All the characters and their interactions are really, really good. I was suspicious of almost everyone for almost all the movie, so it's a really, really good mystery. The acting is really, really good. The symbolism is genius. It looks just like a normal like murder mystery, but still trying to parodize those type of movies without like becoming pathetic or anything, so that makes it better. It is just, in my opinion, basically absolute genius. In my opinion, it is so freaking good. If you have not seen this movie, I highly, highly recommend it to everyone. Coming in at number 1 is easily Joker. There's a Joker poster back there. Where do I start with this one? Let me start by saying this is definitely not a movie for everyone. If you do not like darker movies, this is not your type of movie. But if you like darker movies, you will love everything about this movie probably. The humor is extremely dark, but when it tries humor, in my opinion, it hits. The violence and accents in some of the scenes are so realistic that I was like to the point of terrified. I've seen movies like It and A Quiet Place, but this got me to have trouble looking in some scenes. And with all the terrifying and realistic accents in this movie, along with the humor and the themes, this movie easily, in my opinion, is in my number 1. And I really think it will be in your number 1 if you like darker movies. Okay, everyone, that is my top 10 movies from the year 2019. If you'd like to share your opinions down in the comments section, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'd love to see your top 10s. I'd most likely agree with you. And yeah, have a great day, everybody.